like to call this meeting to order and thank everybody for showing up tonight for the Dundee Council meeting, November 5th, 2019. Could we have roll call, please?
President Burdine.
Here.
Trustee Hickey.
Here.
Trustee Polito.
Here.
Trustee McClendon.
Here.
Trustee Reeves.
Here.
Trustee Horky.
Here.
Trustee Schroeder.
Here.
Manager Yule.
Here.
Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tim, can I say something quick? Sure. I just wanted to tell the council we have a new seating arrangement, so that means you are going to have to speak into your microphones or it will not pick up on the recorder. So please speak into your microphones. I'd appreciate it for my notes. Thank you.
Do we have a motion for tonight's approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Now, you're going to have to talk louder. I have no idea who said. Was that you, Jordan?
So moved. Sorry.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay.
Would you like to sit down here so you can hear
That's
better?
fine. I just, as long as everyone speaks into the microphone and speaks up so I can hear them, that's all we need.
Okay. There's been a motion made and seconded to approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, we have approval of tonight's minutes, the regular meeting minutes, October 15th. Approval of the minutes, 5A, regular meeting minutes, October 15th, 2019. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th, 2019?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of October 15th.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee McClendon and seconded by Trustee Horky that we approve the regular meeting minutes of October 15th, 2019. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6A, petitions and communications. We have a letter here from Jennifer Rice. Shirley, would you like to read that letter?
We don't have to read the letter. It's for record. You just have to mention what the letter is pertaining to, so you don't have to really actually read the letter.
Would you like to explain what the letter is?
It's a thank you letter from Jennifer Rice in regards to the art that is on display within the community. They're very pleased with it, and that's what it's in regards to. The letter is on file. If anyone wishes to read it, also you can see it online, so we don't have to go into detail into those letters.
Okay. Now, do we need to make a motion on this, or we wait for petitions and communications?
Petitions and communications.
Okay.
Do everything first.
6B, the meatloaf dinner at the Dundee Area Senior Citizens is Thursday, November 14th, between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. Now we have 6C, citizens' comments on tonight's agenda items. Could we scroll forward so the people could see tonight's agenda items that might want to make a comment?
No, you're going down to your consent agenda. We're talking about petitions and communications comments.
No,
okay, I see
he
what
wants
you're
the
doing.
audience to
I
see
just
the.
want to
Oh,
see
okay,
it
very
since
good.
they don't have paper.
Okay, very good.
Is there anybody that would like to comment on the citizens' comments?
Would you like me to read the item first?
Yes.
Public comment is provided at both the beginning and the end of the board meeting. The purpose of the public comment is to provide an opportunity for a member of the public to speak. The role of the board is to listen attentively and to thank you in advance for sharing your thoughts and ideas. All members of the public that speak during public comments will need to state their name. We have designated up to 4 minutes per person for each topic presented. The board's role is to listen to the care and concerns of the community. The manager or designee will follow up concerning the comments as soon as possible. Please contact the manager's office if you have any additional questions.
So is there, yes, Debbie?
Barbara Moore. I'm the manager and also live at Eagle Springs. Cabela Boulevard West is not done. We've had road closed signs and cones sitting out there for well over a month. We've had people try to come and deliver seniors meals. They turn around because it says the road's closed. We've had family members try to come and visit. They think the road's closed, they leave. It's done. It needs the lines done on it and smoothed out at the beginning of the road. And we need a speed limit sign going north on that road because there is no speed limit sign. And I'd just like to know when these signs are going to be taken down.
Very good. Thank you. Is there any other citizens' comments? Tom?
My name is Tom Roback. I live at 523 East Monroe Street. It's on M50. And I don't know what to do about the noise for the trucks coming into town. They're coming into town from like Monroe, and there's not a big incline coming down 50, and they hit their Jake brakes on their trucks, and it just rattles the windows and my pictures on my walls. So I don't know if I should go in front of zoning board, ordinance board, but I'm here at the council to find out what to do. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Tom. Larry?
I'm here,
Larry, would you please state your name?
Larry Brosson, Street, Dundee, and I've been here for many, many years, Shirley, as you have. And I'd just like to know something about this tax abatement for clean tech. I know every one of you, except for one person, had to vote no. And everybody else voted yes for it. And I don't know what the Sam Hill is going with that and why it was done prior to.
Yep. Larry, I'm sorry. Well, you'll have a chance in the non-agenda items, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Larry. We'll give you another chance. So do we have a motion to accept the petitions and communications and place on file?
I move that we accept the petitions and communications and place them on file.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Horky and seconded by trustee McClendon that we, Hickey, yes, that we place tonight's petitions and communications and place on file. All in, well, it's a roll call vote.
No, it's not.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Now we come to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the agenda are considered to be routine by the village council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion on these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item will move from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. So tonight, the consent agenda consists of the payment of the bills of $261,093.80. Is there a motion to accept tonight's payment of the bills?
Consent agenda.
Consent agenda. of $261,093.80.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Schroeder and seconded by trustee Horky that we accept tonight's consent agenda. All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
It was moved by trustee Schroeder, supported by trustee Horky, to accept the consent agenda as presented and placed on file. Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee Polito?
Yes.
Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Reeves?
Yes.
Trustee Horky?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder.
Yes.
President Burdine?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Now we come to 8A, Parks and Recreation Master Plan. This is for discussion. Andrea, do you want to?
Yep, this is actually discussion only, it's not for a motion. It was put on the agenda in case there were citizen comments at this time. The public hearing for the master plan will be next council meeting, which is November 19th. That notice has been placed, been printed in the appropriate places. The master plan is available online. It's also available print version in the village office. So the time is coming to a close that you have to make comments. If any of you have comments on the plan thus far, I'd love to hear them. But I'm not requesting a motion on anything at this time.
So does anybody have any questions tonight about the Parks and Recs Master Plan? Has everybody read it? Is there any questions for Andrea and the Recreation Committee? I have one.
Yes, sir.
I've been approached by some people, some women, and they would like a pickleball court. They have a nice one in Tecumseh. It's indoor. And they have one in Milan, which they use in the summertime. And these women, they go to YMCA and they put tape on their tennis courts. Pickleball is like ping pong, but it's a little bit bigger and it's smaller than tennis, and it's good from kids all the way to senior citizens.
Pickleball is actually in the master plan.
Okay.
It's mentioned in a couple of the parks, actually, one of which was Wolverine. So, I mean, it is definitely something that we've recognized. It has come up on surveys, so if these women have that comment and they have a place that they think it should be rather than where we've suggested it, you know.
Could you explain where you've suggested it?
We have that big piece of cement or asphalt actually behind the old mill that could be used for some things and not impact anything in regards to the Mayfly Festival. You know, like it wouldn't be any permanent structure. It wouldn't impede anything in that area. So that is one of the places. The other places I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Would it be Water Tower Park, maybe half of it, to leave the two basketball baskets there and then use half of that?
I don't think that you would want to do it there, but definitely, you know, it's something, understand that the master plan is not a be-all, end-all. The master plan for Parks and Rec, it's suggestions of what people want to see in the community. It's kind of our pie-in-the-sky wish list. There are things in the master plan regarding developing some of the parks, in utilizing some of the land that we currently have, as well as acquiring new land and what we would put on said new land. We do own the area by the Boy Scout building as well as the area behind the Boy Scout building, and we've talked about putting walking paths and things like that in that area. Again, it's never 100% cut and dry that, you know, if it's not in the plan. You remember this is a 5-year plan, that if it's not in the plan, that we'll never see it. If it's not in the plan, but it comes up in a future survey between now and then, that people want that, because maybe there's going to be something really new and exciting that we haven't thought about because it doesn't exist yet. It would definitely be something that we would consider, and that would fall under improving the parks.
Okay, thank you. I guess now we can go to 8B, the I-Compass. Would you like to explain that, Andrea?
Yes, so I actually would like to present to you a motion before we begin that discussion. And my motion would be, I move that Village Council enter into an agreement with I-Compass to purchase the Meeting Manager Pro as well as the board add-on. And the cost, it'll be a 20% discount of the $38.50, and then the board manager add-on is $1,000. So I'm asking it to not exceed $4,850.
And we'll still have paper up here to go by?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Andrea's made a motion, and who seconded it? Brian? Okay, a little bit slower here.
Go for it. It's yours.
Thank you.
Okay, so Meeting Manager Pro would actually allow us to function very similar to what Tecumseh has. If you've ever seen Tecumseh's website, you'll see that there are board meetings. They're all hyperlinked to different documents that are included within the agenda packet. And what it does is it allows any of us, as well as any of the department staffs, as well as Manager Ewell, to add items to the agenda. If we have supporting documents, we can add that to it. It's a way to make us more transparent. The add-on that I'm requesting us have is the board manager. The board manager would allow us for online applications for any of our commissions, any of our boards. So Parks and Rec, Zoning Board of Appeal, DDA, like all that kind of stuff. Anybody that we would have a representative in the community on. So we would have zoning, for instance, and it would track the terms of those individuals. The online application process is good for a multitude of reasons, one of which it makes it so everybody knows how to apply for a board in this town. We would still have to post publicly, obviously, with our different channels, but there would be one spot that anyone would go to look for openings for various board positions. It would also, in turn, help us. If you remember, we went for the redevelopment readiness community. One of the things that we were kind of lacking on was our inability to have an online application process. So that would also help us with the online application process for boards and help us achieve that goal for the redevelopment readiness community better. As you can see in your packet for the Meeting Manager Pro, we would be able to have action tracking. So if there was a request, more information from a department head, we could flag it that we needed to follow up with DPW, and then there would be a time on it. You couldn't forget about it because you would get this online constant reminder that you had to follow up on some agenda item. The minutes manager would allow Shirley to put the minutes right into the computer online, and all of this stuff would spit out into an agenda. Sarah Carl in the office watched the demonstrations, so did Dave and myself, and it really would save a lot of time. So another thing that it would do would be to make our agendas and minutes searchable. Right now, what happens with our council packets is all the printed copies of everything are put into a stack, then they're scanned in through the Xerox machine, and then we get a PDF. That sort of PDF is not searchable. However, if you went to the Tecumseh website for their community, and you went to their agenda area and you typed something like chickens, because they were talking about chicken ordinances for some time, you would be able to see every time that came up on the council agenda. It would also allow our boards to do the same thing. So our boards would be able to put their minutes and their agendas online. I know that some of our boards lag behind on getting their minutes up here to Kathy and Teresa in the office. This would force them to be a lot better about getting this stuff in. So that's another benefit. And then, Tim, to answer your question, if you went to the Tecumseh website, which you can have examples of what these agenda packets look like. Anybody could actually go click on the agenda packet and print it out. The ladies in the office, if anyone needed an agenda packet, could do the same thing.
Okay. Is there any other questions for Andrea? There's been a motion on the floor and seconded, but we still have discussion. I'd still like to see the place in government notice here at this newspaper article I have says placing government notices on the website is a bad idea. That's just the Michigan newspapers. I'm still old-fashioned.
That's different than
Yeah,
that's a notice.
okay.
You know, like we have notices for the public hearings.
We're required
Yeah, Yeah.
by the Open Meetings Act.
Okay,
yeah.
We're required to place notices on our website.
very good. I
Yeah.
just didn't want to,
It indicates in the Open Meetings Act, it has to either be on our main page or in a separate thing called notices. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
no, that's good. I just wanted to clarify that to make sure.
Just so you understand,
Yep.
that's not a permissive item for us.
Right.
Okay,
It's mandatory by statute.
very good. Thank you. All right, Shirley, could you read the motion?
Well, I'll have to have some clarification from Andrea. Andrea, you wanted to enter into an agreement for iCompass for the meetings manager, and what was the addition for the $1,000 that you wanted?
The add-on service is called Board Manager,
Board manager, okay.
and I'm saying not to exceed $4,850, although I do know that that right now, we could do this for 20% off that main price, so it will not be higher than that.
Okay, very good. It's a move by Trustee Hickey, supported by Trustee Schroeder, to enter into an agreement with the iCompass for the meetings, manager meetings, and with the addition of the board manager for a cost not to exceed $4,850. Trustee Polito,
Yes.
Trustee McClendon,
Yes.
Trustee Reeves,
Yes.
Trustee Horky,
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Hickey,
Yes.
President Benign.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Now we come to new business, item C. Ordinance number 03-2019, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 03-2014, rental ordinance. We have this in our package. Has everybody looked at it?
Yes.
And is there a
I
motion?
move to accept ordinance 03-2019, and, the rental agreement. Second.
It's been moved by trustee Horky and supported by trustee Hickey, and seconded by trustee Horky. To approve the ordinance number 2003-2014, the rental ordinance. It's a roll call vote.
Discussion first.
Is there any discussion?
It was moved by Trustee Hickey, supported by Trustee Harkey, to adopt Ordinance 03-2019 and ordinance to amend Ordinance 03-2419 rental ordinance. Trustee McClendon,
Yes.
Trustee Reeves,
Yes.
Trustee Harkey,
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Hickey,
Yes.
Trustee Polito,
Yes.
President Benign.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
If I may comment on one thing, it will be necessary for the board to pass a resolution with regard to the fees that are associated with their work. And I think it would be wise for us at the next meeting to put together a resolution on those numbers and to adopt it at that time.
Would it be better for the recreation department to make the fees or us?
This is rentals for
This is rentals.
like house rentals and
Okay,
things like
gotcha,
that.
Gotcha.
This is, there's the rental ordinance, no, it would not be through Parks and Rec, this would be.
Right.
Yep,
This is the provisions and providing to pay for the cost of actions, essentially, and also, that's essentially. That would be done through resolution in the ordinance, so that can be without amendments at a later time. And in addition, also allow us, we need to make sure that the fees that are being commensurate with the cost expended to those. One of the rules of law is to not charge it, which is not reflective of our business for the services. So, I think I would next meeting, we meet with the building department to obtain their statement of their costs, and then put together a resolution to bring before the board. That works.
Now, we're going to be able to do this at the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Fred, I have a question.
Yes.
Could we just have Gary Dahl go ahead and come up with those fees that are, wouldn't that be him that would come up with those fees and let us know, had that all ready for us? So that,
He's already got it all.
okay,
Yeah, and I'll just put it in the form of a resolution for you to adopt.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Shirley, could you read the motion?
We already voted on it.
So we voted
We're on to 8D.
You're on
Yeah.
you're on the next item now.
on the D.
8D.
Okay, now so you want to do this, okay. So now we're at 8D, ordinance number 04, 2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 58 Parks and Recreation. Has everybody read this, and would you like to somebody like to make a motion so we could discuss it?
Yeah, I move to accept ordinance 04-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 58 Parks and Recreation.
I'll second the motion.
This ordinance just does two little housekeeping items. If you recall, a few meetings ago, it was brought up that we did not have any formal name or location for the green spaces, so this adds the two green spaces in, and it also talks about when you can occupy said green spaces. It was just kept that Village Hub green spaces would be the same as Memorial Park. In Memorial Park, you can be in at all times because of it being well lit and whatnot.
So Andrea's made the motion, is somebody going to second it?
It was.
It's already been seconded.
Yep, we're in discussion.
Okay.
Just ask for further discussion.
Is there any other discussion? Nope.
It was moved by trustee Hickey, supported by trustee McClendon, to adopt ordinance 04-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 58 Parks and Recreation. Trustee Reeves,
Yes.
trustee Horky,
Yes.
trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
trustee Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Polito,
Yes.
trustee McClendon,
Yes.
President Bedine.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Now we come to discussion of the stolen sign and disciplinary action against the employees that said to steal the sign. This would be at Tom's Auto Body. We talked about it the last meeting. Would Chris like to come up here and explain this again, reiterate it? And while you're doing that, I'll hand out the papers that you handed out at the last meeting.
Hi, I'm Chris Batianis. I own Tom's Body Shop right downtown here. I live right on Main Street, as you all know. We seem to have a problem. I have a difficulty with Chief Garbo, and I'm going to have problems in the future. I see it already. I don't like the way the departments came at me, and the only way you got through is with Mr. Garbo. Here we go again. Why didn't he come discuss it with me? Why did he take it to Monroe? Why do we have our own department if we have to go to Monroe anyways? Back to who was right and who was wrong. I paid, had everything surveyed myself to prove it's mine. It's certified by the state of Michigan. David Arthur took care of all the paperwork. He found nothing, and he went back to the 60s. Nothing, even an easement right, went against me. So I'm curious on how it got past Mr. Lucas, how we got this far, how you guys weren't told in advance. Why didn't the building inspector have the property surveyed before we even started? Why is a sidewalk on my property? What are we going to do about it? So I'm leaving it up to you two, your gang, to find out what's going on here. And I would like to know where my sign is and how I'm going to reprimand all the officers involved. Very simple. I didn't ask a lot, but you forced me up here to ask these questions and find out why the department's working on their own. And I want to know who's in charge and why they even are bothering. You close the road for child safety, and yet you guys are up my butt wanting everything. I want to know what's going on. And you're throwing parties every other month over there. That's child safety. Didn't we discuss this before? It was all for safety of the children. Don't look like it to me at all. So, I don't want to get mad. I don't want to yell, because I love the kids. I've done a lot for the school in the 38 years here, a lot. Let me tell you, I've donated to every department at that school. I was the first business to donate to the robotics department, the first business. So when I tell you, I'm not happy with any of it. I feel bad for the kids. They're probably going to suffer because donations are going to have to pay for it. That's the shame of it all. So I want to know if Mr. Garbo's in the right, and I was wrong, but it's fine finding out I'm not. So here it goes again. I'm not getting no apologize. I'm not getting no paperwork. I'm not getting my stuff back, and I still got problems. So I'm curious to see where you're going with this.
Stay up there, please, Chris. Chris? Please stay up there. Somebody may have some other questions.
Well, they
Is there
may.
any
I'd lift
questions?
you all copies, and I will put, before every meeting, I will post pictures on the internet. You can all look at them. I won't bring you copies anymore. I'll post them. I have 30-plus years of pictures. I'll post them. You can all review them. We can discuss it anytime. I'm only right across the street. Anybody's welcome to come talk to me. I talked to every board member before that road closure the last time, before you were all there. I talked to mostly everybody on that board before that last time. So I will say to you, I discussed this a long time ago. We've changed hands since then, but I don't see a lot of improvement. Anything you want to say to me? Again, I am always available. I have an 800 number if you need to contact me. So I'd like to know, Mr. Lucas, how this all got by you. I'd like to know how they didn't survey any of it so that you knew exactly what you guys were talking about when you came at me. I want to know how you prosecuted me with Monroe, the prosecutor. How did Mr. Garbo get that far? When the paperwork ain't even correct. I could see if you were in the right. But to make me do my homework and find out you're not, I'd like to know why, how you got this far. So, I'm sorry, Tim. The bad thing is I can't support you, and I don't have a lot of respect for you. I can't trust you anymore. When you go behind my back and go to Monroe and not do your job as a police chief, it's very difficult for me to stand here and respect you. You could have made an effort. You made none. So, I'm sorry. I love you. I went to school with his brother, but I can't respect him as a police chief, and I will not support him as a police chief. As a man, I understand that part, but not as business. This is business. When you come here, you wear that badge, you work for this department, you got to take the good with the bad. I don't like the way he did things. I thought it was sneaky and underhanded, and I can't respect him or support him. Now that's the downside. And I'm not the only business that feels that way. So don't think it's only me. I'm sure you'll hear more of that in the future.
Now I see here on the survey that they're 14 foot onto your property.
Well, from what I'm understanding, your prior attorney didn't do his paperwork right in the day either. So I don't know those parts. I'm only a shop owner. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm finding out more. I'm getting more into politics now than I ever have. I'm learning more now than I ever did before. And I will make an effort every time to come in here and discuss things with you people. So you've drawn me in now. I'm going to become a politician. I hope that we can work together in the future. But I do believe we all have our own opinion. There's no doubt. I hope my 38 years counts as something here. But again, as I say, we're only one. There's no I in team, I can tell you that. Not at all. And I don't like the way things are going. I don't like the badgering of Tim. He's been here his whole life. He's never done a darn thing wrong. All of a sudden now I hear stories about him. Isn't that funny? So I'd like you guys to look beyond all that. Let's get serious about what's going on around here and move forward.
Now, we're just reiterating some of this stuff from the last meeting. I see you got a letter here from the prosecuting attorney, and if I may read it, part of it. It says, "Dear Mr. Batianis, our office recently received a police report that indicated you may have committed a misdemeanor criminal offense. After reviewing this matter, we determined that you may be eligible for entry into the Solutions Workshop Diversion Program." This is,
We find it very
if it was
funny.
on your property, they took the sign.
Well, if you would have known it was on my property, you probably could have got away with that. I don't understand, again, why you would charge me when you don't know. Why would you make such an effort? And why wouldn't anybody contact me? I gave you all photos. Mr. Yule was there. Mr. Garbo's there. Mr. Dull is there. Everybody that's important to discuss this is there, but no one discusses it with me. Isn't that funny? They're all 20 yards from me, and no one discusses it with me at all. I haven't gotten one letter about that corner closure or any of that stuff till I got the prosecuting mail. That's it. Now, Mr. Lucas just said that everything's got to be put on board. Isn't it funny? I never got one piece of paperwork to anything at all. Nothing. So if you're obligated to keep us informed, keep everything available to us, what happened? How did we get this far? I'm always wondering that myself. So I'm curious of what's going to happen here in the future. Like I said, I feel bad. I'm sorry. I don't like the way they're operating. I'm not feeling great about it, and I can't support a lot of the members here. So I'll work with the best I can. I hope that we can come up with some solutions. I'm sorry, Mr. Lucas. I think you should have done your homework. I don't know who did it. I don't know who's got the power to do that stuff. You know, I know Dave didn't go to college, so he don't know. But what about the rest of you?
Can I have a point of order here? Because the
hold on.
No, the agenda
What? You're
out of
items.
order.
What?
Hold on, please. The item says discussion of stolen sign and disciplinary action against employees.
Yep.
Nothing that we're talking
Yes,
about.
it is.
We're
It's
talking
about his
It's all
stolen
relevant,
We're talking
Andrea.
about a road closure and
Here we
everything
go
else.
again.
And then he's making complaints against Fred about the road closure in the survey. That's not what we're talking about.
How did we get here, Andrea? Miss Hickey, how did we get here? Who answers those questions?
Well-
I'm asking you. You know, sent me no paperwork.
Please.
You don't give me nothing. How can I answer anything? I don't
Please.
get nothing.
If I may respond.
Yes, Mr. Lucas.
First of all, none of this, I don't get, this does not come through me.
Oh,
This is
okay.
handled directly by the police department.
Okay.
Now, I was provided a copy of an easement that was signed in 1993, permanent easement over your property. It was signed by Anthony Badianis and Catherine Badianis. I presume that's your parents?
It was.
Okay. And there is an easement there for stormwater, sanitary sewer, related appurtenances, pedestrian walkways, underground electrical and irrigation facilities, landscaping and private drive construction. Okay? And the grantee shall have the right to remove, and grantee being the village, has the right to remove any obstructions located in the easement and shall restore all driveways, culverts, fences, and tiling to their former condition. It's my understanding that when the complaint was filed, when the complaint was taken and filed, that the signage was in the easement area, as I understood it. In addition, my understanding was as it related to the complaint. Now, again, the complaint was handled directly with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department as opposed to, it did not, we don't handle criminal matters here on behalf of the township. I don't do that, not a part of what I'm involved in. But the bottom line is that my understanding was that there was some landscaping that had been placed on, that was on the easement area that the village had placed on it, and that landscaping was destroyed, which what I understood led to the charges having been proffered to the prosecutor's office. That's my understanding.
You are correct, Mr. Lucas. I did remove the landscaping, and you are correct. If you were right with that easement right, you would have had me. But it was never filed properly, sir. I was told that that means nothing. So that easement right doesn't have any bearing on this now. So now what?
When
I was
David-
told not at all. You're gonna go against the county? Because I went down there.
I'm going against anybody, sir.
Okay.
I mean,
That's what I want to know, Mr. Lucas, because if it's mine, you're saying it's not.
My answer to you was, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have, I have no control over what the county's doing, nor did I direct the county to take any action.
Oh, so you're not involved in that, so that means someone in the office did, but not the board. And they have the right to do that without discussing it with me or the board. Is that correct? So someone went above everybody to do this? Because that's what I'm curious. They didn't ask legally if it were right, because you're telling me you're not involved, but yet they did it illegally, but they didn't do it illegally because they did it right. But I own the property.
Do you want an answer, or do you want to yell at me?
I don't want to yell at you, but you keep pussyfooting around with the answer. I'm kind of answering. Is he right about charging me or not? If he's not, Mr. Lucas, just say it. That's all you got to do. I'm here to answer that question. Did you do it legally or illegally? Now, to me, in my 38 years here, my parents have been in Monroe for 48 years without one blemish, and all of a sudden we have trouble. So I'm wondering what is going on. If you can't answer the simple question, were you right or wrong?
Chris,
Please tell me. Yes, sir.
Just let him answer, please.
Answer what?
First of all, good questions. You've asked me a ton of questions. I try to answer them.
Okay.
First of all, as it relates to don't direct where the police are going to take action or not take action. This would be, in any situation, the police take action. They don't come to me and say, hey, should we issue a ticket for this, or hey, should we issue a ticket for that? They act on their own. And it is not up to the township, up to the village attorney or to anybody to direct them as to who they're supposed to take action against. They, as police officers, as for the village, are charged with responsibility for upholding the laws of the village. They take action. Once they take action, then that then goes to the appropriate authority. Now, if it's determined that they did not act properly, or that they did not that they don't have a basis, that's where the prosecutor comes in and reviews the matter to make that determination. That prosecutor in this case is not me. The prosecutor in this case is the county prosecutor's office. They are the ones that will make the ultimate determination as to whether or not there's been a violation or not. If they make a determination that there's a violation, they can bring charges or they cannot bring charges. They have the right to make that decision. But as it relates to what a police officer does, no police officer contacts me ahead of time and says, hey, we're going to issue a ticket for so-and-so for drugs. They don't do that. That is not how the process works. The process is the police officers issue the ticket, and then it goes to the prosecutor, and then the prosecutor makes a determination after that point. Now, because in this particular situation, the police officers, as I was advised, that there was an easement as to this property. I've got a copy of the easement here. Now, this is what this easement says. And
Mr. Lucas, I've read the easement, and I have a copy of it too. It is not certified, and you know darn well, if it's not certified by the state of Michigan or Monroe County, it means nothing.
no easement is certified by the state of Michigan.
Well, that easement right was never put through in Monroe County. I already found out. It doesn't give you right to the road, you're right, and the sewage, but it doesn't give you much right beyond that. I've already been told that, Mr. Lucas. Now, here we go again.
That's a civil.
I was never written a ticket. What I was prosecuted with Monroe. Back to that.
If I may say
Okay.
something here, I got a letter from Chris's attorney, and it says, I met with Ken Loren of the Monroe County Prosecutor's Office today regarding the above reference matter and want to provide you with this enclosed. You will recall that Mr. Batianis, owner of Tom's Auto Body Shop located at 125 East Main Street in Dundee, retained the services of David Kabisky from David Arthur Consultants Incorporation for the purpose of obtaining a lot survey of his property. Mr. Kabisky has completed that survey, and it shows that the tree at issue in the dispute between Mr. Batianis and the village is in fact on his property. I have a very large site plan drawing which does not lend itself to reproduction on my copier, but the enclosed segment of the drawing shows that the tree on his property that I have highlighted is for ease of reference. I trust that this will help us put this matter behind us. As I stated in my last letter, further conflict serves no one, and I am confident that all parties want a peaceful resolution to this simple misunderstanding. Again, I invite everyone to come to the table to discuss to move forward a respectful and professional manner. Please contact me at your earliest convenience, Maria Sigorsky.
And I would add that I did contact Ms. Zagorski and did make an offer to meet with her and to meet with all parties involved. Now, I don't have a date for that meeting yet, but I did contact her following receiving a letter on July 12th. I know Ms. Zagorski quite well, and I contacted her in an effort to do exactly that. And we have not set a date or not had anything done as of this time. I believe that we had actually discussed having a meeting during the time that Mr. Buell was not available, so we were going to reschedule. But the truth of the matter is that if we have in fact contacted Ms. Zagorski and have discussed with her this issue, now, again, we need to take a look and see, and I am not a surveyor, and I certainly can't sit here and tell you where exactly that easement goes without having that done for me.
Okay.
I have to look at a survey from a survey. I do know that we have an easement here. I do know that the easement calls for giving us the right for certain landscaping and things of that nature.
Now,
The truth of
I'm just asking a legal question here. Don't you find it funny that that sign had been up for 3 years protesting the road closure? And now, close to 2.5 to 3 years that it had been up, Randy Sale, Sergeant Sale, come over and he said he was ordered by, first of all, Ron Phillips come over there and said, Chris, I'm coming over here to take your sign. He said, Ron, he's a DPW worker. He says, this is my property. So Ron didn't want any problem, so he went back, probably talked with Dave, and Dave Ewell and Chief Garbo sent Randy Sale over with another officer to steal this sign. And it's proven that it was.
Well, I would be very careful about calling anybody stealing anything.
Well, he took it right in front of me, Mr. Lucas.
Excuse me, I'm responding.
I understand.
Okay? Stealing implies what's known as a mens rea, which is an intent to deprive something of something and to take it for their own benefit.
Well,
that is not what was involved here. So there's no theft involved. Now, there may be a mistake that was made. And I'm not saying that there was, but I'm saying even if there was, it's not theft. It's not stealing.
I'll retract that then, and we'll take it
Mr. Lucas,
illegally.
excuse me.
Could we say that they took that illegally?
Well, I don't know if it's illegal or not at this point. I mean, that's the county prosecutors reviewing that matter for that very purpose. Now, once again, the idea was for us to meet with Ms. Zagorski to sit down and see if we could figure this out and come to some sort of resolution that would be beneficial to all parties. And that is in fact what I offered Ms. Zagorski to do. And I would still like to do that with her, because I clearly, you know, Mr. Badianis has been here and his family's been here a while, and I would prefer that we deal with this in a more collegial, more amicable fashion. I don't think it benefits anybody to have anybody being prosecuted. But that being said, the bottom line is that I'm still available and open to meeting with Mr. Badianis and his attorney, which I have offered to do. Number two, as it relates to this, I don't have the information. I don't have a copy of the to see where this easement exactly is in relationship to the and I think it's more than just the sign. It was also the
It was, sir.
landscaping that was on the.
It was the police calling a customer. Again, the excavation work, Mr. Garbo is calling the county.
The question you asked me in particular, President Bordine, was whether or not I found it unusual. It doesn't matter that's not a legal issue. That really is not a matter of legality as far as whether I find it unusual or not. It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is whether or not there was a violation, or whether or not the village had the right to preserve that easement area, and whether or not this particular activity occurred within that easement area, because we are granted the right to landscaping within that easement area. That's what I see as the sole issue. If in fact it wasn't in the easement area, but everything that I have information on is that it was an easement area. But that's why I want to sit down and meet with Ms. Zagorski to try to resolve these issues. That's what's to the benefit of everybody, is to do that.
So I think Mr. Batianis also feels like he's been badgered by when one of his customers was called by the police saying that he was parked on village property and they were going to haul the car away. Is that correct, Mr. Batianis?
That is correct.
Okay, I honestly, guys, I don't see how we're getting anywhere tonight. And so what I would recommend is we put a time deadline on that meeting with Ms.
You are correct, Ms. Hickey.
No,
I
hold
don't
on,
want
please
to
let me
hold you up.
finish.
You are
Hold
correct.
on one second. If we could just put a time deadline on that meeting so that it occurs in a timely fashion, rather than leaving this open-ended, why don't we say that all parties need to meet by, say, December 15th or something like that, in accordance with Ms. Zagorski's schedule? Because I think what she's saying is right. We need to move on in a peaceful manner, and continuing this conversation here is not helping.
No, it's not. I believe you're correct. I'll make an effort to call Ms. Zagorski tomorrow, Mr. Lucas, and hopefully we can set some time up. She does know how to contact you, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're going to sit down. We'll do some discussions before we go any further with Mr. Garbo and reprimand of the department.
That's fine with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
So would anybody would like to make a motion to discipline David Ewell and Tim Garbo, Chief Garbo, for sending the officer over there to take the sign? Or just we're going to leave it open-ended? till the next meeting.
We are not disciplining anybody.
Okay.
We're going to have them meet.
Okay. So I guess this will be over and we'll go to old business. We can go to changes 9A, changes to council procedure and ethnic ordinances, resolution. Ethics, yes. Ethic ordinances. Resolution number 2019-23.
And I'll make that motion for the council procedure and ethic ordinances resolution 2019-23.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't, Ryan.
There's been a motion to support the change of the ethic ordinance, resolution number 2019-23. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Shirley, would you please read the motion over for a roll call vote?
It was moved by trustee McClendon, supported by trustee, excuse me, Schroeder, to adopt resolution 2019-23, a resolution to adopt changes to the council procedures and ethics ordinance. Trustee Horky?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee Polito?
Yes.
Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Reeves?
Yes.
President Burdine?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Now we go to 9B, the Sidney Street project, $3,500 amendment. Has everybody read that? And
It's a change order, not an amendment.
it's a changeover. Oh, I have amendment here.
And actually, you have a number that was left off in the sheet here on the agenda. It's supposed to be change order number 1.
It should be changeover on 6B. I have that.
No, you were on your right item, Sidney Street project, but you have a change order, but you have to have the change order, a number with the change order. It's number 1. So that will have to be included in the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 1 for the Sidney Street project.
Second.
There's been a motion to accept the change order project of $3,500, and it's been made by trustee Horky and seconded, trustee Hickey, and seconded by trustee Horky. Is there any discussion on the motion? Now, would this would be the Sidney Street project where they had trouble in the backyard here a couple meetings ago of the
Right.
water?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion on this? Hearing none, and would you please read the motion, please?
It was moved by trustee Hickey, supported by trustee Horky, to approve change order number 1, 2019, to the Sidney Street project in the amount not to exceed $3,500. Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee Polito?
Yes.
Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Reeves?
Yes.
Trustee Horky?
Yes.
President Burdine?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Next thing we have is upcoming training opportunities, SEMCOB training, preparing competitive proposals for Resilience Fund, November 19th, 2019, 1:30 to 3 p.m. SEMCOG is at 1001 Woodward Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. That's just an informative thing. So now we go, Larry, you
I have
may.
a question.
Yeah.
There was another training opportunity coming up for tomorrow morning. It was the FOIA. Was that also at SEMCOG, or is that going to be?
No, that's the police training.
That was Rockwood Police. Yep. Okay, now that we've taken care of that, and we're back to number 11, citizens' comments. Larry, you were first.
First off, I want to ask that you consider repealing the tax abatement for clean tech. I think you're going to need the money to cure a problem, and that problem continues to grow with the traffic especially. And I know I probably don't have, I got more time than I got money, I guess. But I took down the pictures and showed Dave what's happened down at that street and the congestion and the blockage that the whole thing had. And for his credit, they went down and they talked to the truck drivers. I don't know if you ever talked to Clean Tech or not about that. Clean Tech said that they would, according to Dave, take care of that situation, which they're suckering you in like they did me. And they won't do a darn thing. I have pictures, if you guys want to look at these pictures, but there's one that I want to especially and I think you got it. I want the one with the emergency vehicle in it. Where is it? Right there. Okay, those, yeah, you bet, thank you. One picture really stood out to me. And this is, and I admit that this is an emergency vehicle going back to the barn. But I thought to myself, what the devil if he was on a run, coming out? These are the jaws of life. Need to resuscitate somebody. A house fire. Every minute counts. And what's going on down there is absolutely insane. You people voted to expand, to help with that abatement. You sent it over to the No Plan Commission, and they said yes. And you guys influenced the devil out of them. I know that. But I'm going to tell you, if, in fact, that emergency vehicle, instead of going back, was coming out, and he couldn't get through, and every minute counts. Especially, I know, on a house fire. If those trucks can't get through, every minute counts. I know the disaster that it causes. I know the devastation to the families. I know the sorrow. I know the sadness. I've been there. I've seen many, many of them. And you guys are responsible for investing in clean tech to expand and get bigger. What is wrong with you? Only one person stood up and said no. He had the courage to say no. The rest of you said yes. And you passed it on to the No Plan Commission because they had no plan. They accepted what Clean Tech had. And I think that's disgusting. I heard no comment, none of you come down to my neighborhood and looked to see. Dave and the police chief did.
I did.
And you did. Yeah, that's right. And that's why you said no. That's why you have courage. You go out and talk to the people. Dundee is not. Dundee is not an industrial park. It's a residential service community. Why can't you understand that?
Okay.
You've forgotten the citizens.
Can I?
Larry, just kind of wrap it up now because they're upset that you're speaking more than 4 minutes.
Can I just ask you, just for a point of reference,
Sure.
what day were these pictures taken?
Those pictures, they were taken just right after you talked to Clean Tech. The couple days after our meeting last month.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't see there was a.
Those, I had them printed.
Oh, that's the day you had it printed, not the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them may have the same day. You're right. Some of them may be the same day.
Did you have them printed this? You had them printed the same day, or?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I got another one tonight.
I was just curious because I wondered timing of events, but thank you, sir.
You guys come out and talk to the neighborhood. See what's going on.
This is
See
out,
what's
this is
going
out of
on.
the ordinary, but I did, and I walked by with a friend, and we seen that the noise level was at 77 to 87. I don't know how high, if that's way over our ordinance or not, but the smell and that, I understand that it smells 2 to 3 times a month, and it does smell, rotten milk smell, and that's why I voted no, because of the larger it gets, the more smell, the noisier it's gonna get. I have talked with some of the people out there that work there, and I've also talked to one of the managers out there, and if Dave could possibly get them to park over on Ann Arbor Road where their trailer park is over there, it would help some of the congestion what Larry showed us tonight.
Well, you know, the village is gonna need the money because Clean Tech isn't gonna, they need a 4-lane highway coming down through there.
Okay, thanks.
To park the trucks,
You're right, Larry, and thank you.
you know?
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Nope, hey, that's fine.
You definitely need more than 4 minutes to discuss this. And I'd
You're
sure
right.
appreciate
You're
the
right.
time that you guys would take and come on down to my neighborhood, stop at my door, and I'll take you around. I'll let you do
Okay.
it.
Thank you, Larry. Is there any other citizens' comments tonight?
Good evening. My name is William Godfroy, spelled Godfroy. I'm an attorney in Monroe. I'm here on behalf of Village Manager Ewell, as well as Chief Garbo, on the issue of the allegation of a theft of a sign. I would like to be included in the meeting that Mr. Lucas and Ms. Zagorski would be discussing concerning this easement. There's an easement that was recorded. I believe the date is on it is May 1st. It says 1993, but it was sworn to in 1994. That easement attached to it has a legal description, has a diagram to it, which is all on the corner of Main and Ypsilanti Street, going right up to the edge of the building. If that has not been recorded, I cannot answer that, but at some point in time, I would have assumed that the surveyor would have caught that easement. Maybe a title search by one of the title companies could pick that up, easement up, and determine if in fact that easement was present. But you have the easement noted in your files.
There was none. I talked.
This is his opportunity to speak, right? It's his time.
So I would like to be included in all of that the discussion that they had with Ms. Gorski. Clearly, the property owner is aware of the easement that was predecessor to his parents, and if that has to be rectified, I'm sure Mr. Lucas has some ideas concerning that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Howard?
Howard Silly, 500 Roosevelt Street. I know I'm going to have to talk pretty fast because 4 minutes isn't really long enough. First of all, I'd like to thank Lisa Moore, Realtor, who I gave her a tour of my property, which I'm in the process of selling some of it, and she was very, very nice and accepted no money. And I'd like to say something about Lindsay, or open up the insurance agency down there in the same building complex. She used to work for State Farm for quite a while, and she's on her own, and she's doing real good. And I'd like to really give a real good thank you to Scott Heck for 20 years of service to this village at the old mill, and done a tremendous job of fixing it up inside. A lot of out-of-pocket money for him, but Scott does a great, great job, and I'd really like to give a shout to him. My next thing is Nick Speck, that owns the tire store, Tire Depot. Very, very nice family. I've met them all. I buy all my tires there. He's putting up wants to put up a new building, and it's right on the north side of 50, right next to where the church and this other business that's there. And he first went to get a site plan. Well, when he went uptown, the price of the site plan was $55,000. He since has found one for $15,000. 40 grand difference is quite a bit. And also, he was approached by one of the officers to get a tire patched or plugged. When you have a police car, you cannot plug the tire. Those are high-speed tires. They had a little disagreement, holding the door open and stuff, and he did refuse to do it, and so that might have put a black mark against him. Now, the water runs right on that side of the road. There's a water tap there. There's a sewer 5 feet from where he bought the property. He cannot tap into the water. He can't tap into the sewer. Now, you people all voted to give Solvay Homes free tap, free water, basically, free money. He's willing to pay. He is willing to pay whatever the cost is. He's told no, he can't have water. Drill a well. Really? Is that how we're going to treat people that come in here and do a service for us? They want to build here, spend money here. He wants to pay the water tap. He wants to pay the sewage tap. He wants to pay every 90 days the water bill. Why won't you people get together and talk to our manager and talk to somebody in the township and say, yes, we'll welcome him with open arms? Why are we turning people like that away? Those are great people. I have talked to that whole family. There's no reason that he should have to put a well there. The water tap is there. The hydrant is there. That's discrimination. And the way the police treated him and told him, just plug the tire. No, he can't plug the tire. I used to do everything with Chris for the police department. I have every part there is for all these Tahoes are running around in, but they don't come and see us. They don't want nothing to do with us. And Mr. Garbo didn't like my comment. That's what he told me in the back, in the walkway through there, leaving. I'm sorry if you don't like my comment. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a citizen. I'm going to say what I have to say. But I sure wish you people would wake up and start listening to the real people, the people that really make this town. Don't turn them away. Don't do that. A water tap? Really? He's willing to pay. And like I said, I can't get it all done in 4 minutes. I have a lot to say. And it's sad because we all sit here and we pledge allegiance to that flag. And what's going on with Chris, there is no gray area. It's black and white.
Okay. Okay.
And the Pledge of Allegiance says with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Howard. And I'm just going to make a short comment. I did not vote for that $912 tap-in fee for Solvay's. Thank you. Is there any other questions tonight? Steve.
I'm Steve Thomas.
Excuse me, I can hear you. Can you help?
Steve Thomas.
Steve Thomas?
Yes. I come through this annexed part of 23 every single day. I've ridden around Dundee. You guys have got signs that say Dundee Village Limit. There is nothing out there on 23 that states anything about the village out there. But yet, I have pictures of trucks being pulled over all the way up at Cone Road. Where do our Dundee village limits lie and where don't they? I am hearing complaints from truck drivers from states far away. Stay away from 23 going through the village of Dundee. Where do we put signs up that annex that part of 23, and what gives this village the right to pull people over so far out of their jurisdiction? Any one of you guys got an answer?
We're not supposed to answer this.
Fair enough, Tim. I think it's ludicrous that we're pulling trucks over because we're cherry picking trucks because of the revenue that you can get off of a truck. Why do we let this happen? Nobody polices the village. You know, I see this as ridiculous. And if we don't get a handle on it, somebody's going to try to report it to the state. I'm already working at Channel 2, maybe Channel 4, maybe Channel 7. I think there's corruption going on here, and we revenued this village strictly by pulling trucks over. I've got pictures that I could bring in next meeting, and you guys can see for yourselves. I think it's way beyond control, and nobody polices this village.
Thank you, Steve. Is there any other citizens' comments tonight? David?
Good evening. My name is David Federley. This village needs to look hard at itself. We're seeing a lot of the little guy getting squashed and the big guy getting away with murder. There's example after example from, Chris's place to tearing down part of the building of Bricktown. Both cases obviously not surveyed. Howard, poor Howard's in here every month fighting the good fight. You guys seem to fight against each other instead of getting together and pulling for this community. And it's ridiculous that, we can go back through scenarios all the time, but when Mr. Ewell was police chief, he sent officers to my house because I had a semi parked in the street overnight and told me I had to remove it immediately or it was being towed. Now, here I am, a little guy, having to jump and scramble and make Mr. Ewell happy, but yet Clean Tech can have all the trucks in the world park out there and nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, you guys need to take a long, hard look at yourselves, what you're here to do, what you're supposed to be accomplishing, who you're supposed to be working for, because you're sure not working for the small guy and the resident in this community.
Thank you, David. Is there any other questions out there? Citizens' comments? No? Hearing none, seeing none, I guess we can go to village manager comments now. Dave?
I just have a couple things. Business Summit's November 13th. Our dump truck for the DPW is at the Truck Outfitters. And don't forget the Senior Summit, November 14th at 10 a.m. at the Old Mill. That's all I have.
Okay. Staff reports. Anybody from the staff, building department, police department? Tim, you'd like to say anything tonight? No. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just happened to look up there and Chief just reminded me. We did this public service announcement and I'd like to play it for the council in case you didn't see it. Just a couple minutes. It's through that
Hi, I'm
Toledo
Todd
area.
Brown with the Mannequin Smith Group. We're on site this morning at the wastewater treatment plant in Dundee, Michigan. Over the past 5 years, the village of Dundee put approximately $9 million into the wastewater treatment plant facility as well as the sewer collection system. Some of those projects include an upgrade to the filter system, drum screens, and sewer system within the village. A 1.3 million gallon equalization basin was installed to capture wet flows that come into the plant during the rainy season. To help make this project a success, the village asks for your help. The things that you can do as a resident, consumer, or commercial business owner is to reduce what's being flushed down the toilets and dumped into drains. Some of the things that we ask that you do not flush or dump into drains are rags, paper towels, grease, and oils. These things are very difficult to treat at the plant and are very costly. In addition to what I just mentioned, here's a short list of items that we ask that you do not flush or dispose of down another drain. When these things are flushed down toilets or dumped into drains, sanitary sewers can become backed up or plugged, causing backups into homes and overflows into streets. The Village of Dundee and the Mannequin Smith Group appreciate your help in this treatment plant run smoothly.
Since there's nobody else here from the staff, we'll go to
I
council.
am Todd Brown with the mannequin. This morning,
We'll go to the council member comments, please. Mike, I'll start with you tonight.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you all for coming out tonight. This is the biggest appearance that we've had so far. I appreciate everybody coming here, taking time out of your day. As far as that, I'm fine.
Denny?
Nothing, thank you.
Andrea?
I just want to thank everyone for coming, number one, and also, if you guys could do us a favor, and when you have something that you want to report, a picture doesn't do it complete justice. What we need to know is times, dates, what all you saw. It's possible that perhaps the officer, and this is, I'm not saying this is true in all instances, it's possible the officer, that was the first place, if it was a semi-truck, that it was safe to pull that truck over would have been the Cone Road exit. And I'm not saying that on your, well, no, sir, I'm not saying in your instance, well, no, hold on, please. I'm not saying in your instance that that was the case, but unless we have dates and times of these things, how can we follow up on them?
Does exit 22 with a village vehicle with its lights on, with the truck pulled over, suffice?
No, we
You
need.
need a date and time to see exit 22 in the picture?
No, we need dates and times to follow up on the incident and go
You know
back
what?
to.
There's GPS on every one of these police cars.
No, sir.
You guys can figure out where they are at any given time.
Steve, that's,
Sir, I'm just saying that in order for us to look into these things, we need more than that, because we need to know what time of day it was, because maybe it happened twice. We need to know these things. So it would help us immensely to have more details, and we want to hear those things that you're saying. I promise you that.
do you, I didn't mean to
Go ahead,
interrupt.
Tim. If you had a question, please.
Yeah, I do have a question. I notice it too, that they're down on Cone Road. I have pictures from Supervisor Milan Township. He's not satisfied. I know that they go down and weigh the trucks down at exit 5 in Blissfield. The truck stop there. Don't you see them yourself? You go to Ann Arbor 5 days a week?
I sure as heck do not. I work from my virtual office. I don't have to. I am fortunate enough that I left University of Michigan in 2013, and I work from home to support my children, which is of course irrelevant to this. Yeah, and I'm just saying, in order to assist us, if we could have more information in order to look into these things and investigate them. And no, I'm sorry, I don't drive to Ann Arbor every day. My husband goes down to Oregon, Ohio. It's just the way it is.
Okay. Are you done?
Yep.
All right. Jordan?
Nothing, thank you.
Alina?
I'm going to lighten the mood just a tad. Halloween night, even though it was so yucky and rainy and cold, I give a lot of credit to everybody that was out for the Halloween bash downtown. I had my little guy down there, and we had a blast. So props to everybody that was out there. I know Denny was out handing candy and stuff. So anyway, thanks, and again, thank y'all for being here too.
Brian?
Well, now that it's over with, I want to thank Shirley for all her work with the Traveling Smithsonian, and it's all closed up and everything was great. I know we have a college class at the high school, and they only meet in the mornings, and so the professor contacted me, and I got a hold of Shirley because she really wanted to bring her class there. And I asked her, and she said, "We'll make it work." And we set it up, and she got up really early in the morning and met us there. Well, we didn't have school. So she was there waiting on us, and we didn't show up because we canceled the school. So I called her, and I apologized, and I said, we'd really like to reschedule, and she just very easily rescheduled and gave a special showing for our high school kids that were enrolled in a college class. So thank you for going above and beyond with this whole entire project. Thank you.
That's what it's for.
Absolutely, and you make it, the hard work and dedication. Thank you. And I would just like to say, I would hope that all of us, community members, board members, all of us work towards trying to get these meetings a little more professional with professional decorum. I just think we all can respect one another and we can get our points across without yelling, screaming, and name calling. So I just would hope that we're going to work on it, and I hope that we can all just work our meetings towards that direction, because I think we can be more productive if we do that.
Thank you. Shirley.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone. We had a lot of volunteers. I had approximately 35 people from out of the community that volunteered their time, and some of them came at least 3 and 4 times a week to work over at the museum during the Smithsonian. And it was a large project, and I had a lot of our council people and village employees that came over there and worked. It is a big project, and it was really great because we had school kids, we had 3rd graders, we had the high school students come over, and I think they really benefited from it, learning a lot about history in our community. It based a lot on a small communities, in which what we are, a small community. And so it was really a lot of fun, a lot of work, and maybe in 6 more years we can have another one. I probably won't, but somebody maybe will.
Thanks, Shirley. I really enjoyed, it wasn't work. It was a pleasure to do the Smithsonian thing with you and all the helpers there. Now, in my report, I'd like to say, once again, I would once again like to thank our DPW workers for starting to decorate our town with the Christmas lights. I noticed them today around the trees by the dam, and hopefully everything will be finished by our Christmas parade. I want you to keep up the good work. Also, a shout out to the postal worker, Bridget Rojum. She secured a postal drop box at Snap Fitness at Water Street Commerce Drive next to the UPS box. Please use it so we can continue to have less congestion at the post office the way it is now, and it'll really help our traffic situation and stuff. And this was one of my campaign promises, and if we could get this on the village website and put it in the newspaper, I'd really appreciate it. And just a shout out to Bridget Rojum. Thank you very much tonight. And there's no closed session, so I make the motion that we adjourn tonight. And thank you everybody for coming. Meeting is adjourned.